Okay. Well, folks, we're doing something different this week, and what we're doing is Stav is he's under the weather. According to him, he may have COVID or coronavirus. I'm not sure, or he could have had too much. I'm thinking either Cookie Crisp or Captain Crunch, one of the cereals that fucks up the roof of your mouth. Because he said he had a sore throat, and I don't think he knows the difference between the top of his mouth and his throat. He's not very aware of his body. And so he checked out, and then we had a time set for 4:30 to do the podcast, and me and Adam set on that. And now I'm in his apartment, and he's gone. He went to go. I think he went to go shop for records and leather jackets. He said he had the dead ass go get cool clothes. No, I'm not sure where he is, but it really doesn't. I don't think it matters because we didn't book a guest, and most people check in just to hear me clear my throat anyways. So I'm just going to start at 4:30 anyways. And, when he gets here, then he can hop in. Hopefully it's, he was accurate and when he said 20 minutes. So it'll be me doing basically like a rant style thing for the first 20 minutes. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to get into that I feel like I really haven't been able to. I haven't really been able to spread my wings because I've been held back by the politics of the show. So we're gonna start off with that. Number one, something that's really been kind of stuck in my craw is a friend of mine recently told me that that they volunteered as a hugger at the Special Olympics. And this is somebody that I like. So I had to curb my instinct to be like, "You did what at the at the Special Olympics?" And because there's many questions that came to mind when I heard that somebody could volunteer as a hugger at the Special Olympics. Number one is I wasn't aware that there was a paucity of hugging going on at the Special Olympics that would require extra volunteers to handle, the distribution of hugs. You could have told me that was an event at the Special Olympics was hugging, and I would have believed you. But I guess they do have volunteer huggers at the Special Olympics, which is like, it's very funny to imagine that the regular volunteers were refusing to do any of the hugging. that there was a guy who signed up to help out at the Special Olympics. It was like, look, I'm just going to take pictures of the retards. Don't expect me to touch them. I will not. I don't know how it works, but in the age of Corona, you can't play it too safe. We don't know how not only this virus spreads, but any other virus. And who's to say, I'm here doing my civic duty, helping out at the races by, giving them all fun nicknames and placing bets on them. And then you have me hug them. And then what do we know about the transmission of the Down syndrome virus? Then suddenly my eyes have an extra set of eyelids on them, and I'm lubricating my chin with every sentence, and I need candy to live. Oh, here comes Adam's dog. Adam's dog is here. This is, people probably hate this, but this is very funny to me. It's a very funny way to approach doing the podcast is what if out of nowhere I just fired Adam and Stav, and then there's no feedback. It's a complete echo chamber, and I just really get to lean into complete. I don't even know. Is that mental illness? Something feels. It's funny because this isn't much different than doing the show. But the idea of recording just yourself speaking seems like so incredibly self-centered, which is, there's no difference. I mean, it's the same thing. You just do it with two other people. But when you do it alone and you're aware that you're recording something that you haven't prepared at all, with the presumption that people are going to download it and be like, let's hear this guy ramble to himself in a room. It's I tell you, it's not laugh out loud funny, but it's the kind of funny, you know, it's like book funny. It's like that kind of Mark Twain. It's the way Mark Twain was funny, and that you don't laugh at it and it's fucking gay, but, you know, somebody works at the library, so everybody, if you want a job at the library, you gotta pretend to like Mark Twain. I kind of like Mark Twain. I think I said that, and it sounds cruel, but he does hold up a bit, especially, you know, some of the N-word stuff where he went hard. Okay, I'm taking a look at the New York Times here. We're at 6 minutes, so 1/10 of the podcast I could at least fill on my own. An extra $600 a week kept jobless workers afloat. Now what? And then there's a picture of a fat lady here, which, you know, I don't think she's going to have any problem staying afloat. Am I right, fellas? Am I right? How do you know, it's so funny with all this eat the rich stuff that's going around. Fat people must be fucking wiping their brows because they put themselves in the spotlight, and now, you know, everybody's making this analogy. I see it, maybe, that we're all, you know, stuck on a raft, that America is now just a raft adrift at sea with no safety net, and it's every man for himself. And the classic move is eat the fat guy. That was the way that we would go eat the fat guy, and now somehow the fat guys and the fat ladies have flipped the script, and now we're eating rich people, which they probably taste disgusting. They're all inbred. I mean, not that, you know, I mean, fat, I can't imagine eating a fat. You would want to eat the muscle man. That would probably, I'd pick the gayest guy on the boat, and that's who I would fillet and turn into an emergency snack. If you guys have any thoughts about who you would like to eat in terms of rich people, and I know it's just an expression, you know, but we've moved past the age of expression and nuance, you know. If you can't say master bedroom anymore because people don't know what it means, then you shouldn't be able to say eat the rich unless you're literally willing to cut off and eat Jeff Bezos's penis. Which, do you think maybe he would agree to that? How much do you think that they love their billions of dollars? Do you think if instead of the tax, we could say that we find the most disabled, like the transest, disabledest, poorest person, and we say, Mr. Bezos, you get to keep your money, you get to keep your newspaper and Amazon, keep all of your riches. You can even we can change the name of Amazon to the Amazon Redskins, and I don't know why we would do that, but that would be the name of it. But we're going to cut off your penis and balls, and we're going to feed it to the neediest person. Are we still saying neediest? I don't know if is that fair? I'm not up to date on that. The transist. The queerest. Yeah, this sucks. It sucks having to do this. But I don't want to do Zoom, and literally everyone has left New York. There's nobody left in New York. I don't know who is protesting. I think the only people that live here are me and then the guy that brings Sierra Mist to my bodega on the truck. And for the most part, it's cleared out. I've been having a nice time lately. I watched Michael Clayton this morning, which is that's such an awesome way to start your day, is pretending you're Michael Clayton. If you're like depressed, Just wake up in the morning, and then watch like kind of like fuck you style guy movies, you know, where that, you know, I'm not the guy you fuck with. I'm the guy who fucks you. I'm the one that does fuck, asshole, fucking shit ass. Just imagine yourself as a bagman, a fixer. Sorry, I'm checking my DMs now. It's funny to me. It's going to be the same joke throughout this, where it just cuts to silence because I'm looking for headlines and I'm going to the DMs. It's wild that there's people that just do solo shows, you know. And it's wild that someone's capable of doing that, which it seems impossible to do. It seems like very fucking hard to effectively sit by yourself and have the confidence to think that your meandering thoughts are like could possibly be entertaining to anyone. But then to actually be able to do it, which some people are, you know, I think. I don't know. I mean, who does this by, I guess Garrison Keillor probably. He just fucking makes up bullshit about a fake town. How the fuck, you know, it's funny because I think about the show and it's like, oh, we got lucky, you know? It's like a time and a place and like specifically, you know, like having 2 or 3 idiots that are friends with each other. I mean, you can find that anywhere. I mean, it's like, I just think it was like this confluence of events and timing that kind of made the thing take off. But then you look at other shit that like predates, I think, like there's sort of like, there's like 9/11, and then there was the cultural version of 9/11, which is the invention of podcasts, which is Marc Maron getting a garage. I think that's like the planes going into the towers is Marc Maron pressing record on in GarageBand for the first time, and then everything that made like delineated culture from being something that's like edited to, you know, maybe it's commercial or whatever, but at least some thought went into it and it's produced and then distributed to people, to being just a thing where everybody does exactly what I'm doing right now and produces shit, and then we all just eat the shit and then get sick from it, like a big like human centipede that's like connected to itself. I think like, but you escape that and you go back and you look at other stuff, and there's it's always been that way. There's always been just like dog shit, like Garrison Keillor, or defending the caveman. I mean, I guess maybe Garrison Keillor does edit what he does. Maybe he puts some thought into it. But I like to imagine that the pages are completely empty in that stupid fucking notebook, and he just goes on stage and he's like, it was windy. It was a windy day in titty fuck Wisconsin. The sheriff's pants blew off, and so did his shirt, and his clothes, all of his cop clothes ended up on the town's biggest criminal, and then the criminal, that's like an allegory. It'll take English professors years to figure out the moral of that story. And then there was a bitch named like Helga Sarsgaard, or like, you know, she's like, and her deal is she's Swedish and fat, and she's got like rosacea or something, and she's always making apple butter for people, and everybody was having a contest to see who could walk the furthest out on the frozen lake, and she wanted to participate to prove that women could do things, but they were trying to dissuade her from doing it. Everybody in Lake Wobegon, they didn't want her to go out on the frozen lake because she's a huge fat bitch. She probably weighed more than everybody else in that fucking town, and she was like, "Oh, what? You don't think a girl can do it?" And nobody wants to be like, "No, you're fucking fat. you're too fat to do it. So they kind of have to like tiptoe. They're like, no, it's not a gender thing. And then she's like, well, what is it? And they're like, okay, I guess you can participate in see who can walk the furthest out on the ice thing. And she appoints herself. All the other women don't say anything because nobody can be rude to her about her fucking weight. And so she walks maybe 2 feet out on the ice, immediately cracks right through the thing, sinking to the fucking bottom, dying, and nobody saves her because she brought it on herself. And that's just kind of how the way things, work out there. They just, in the Midwest, they pray for you. That's definitely unique. Everything that the Midwest thinks is unique about them. It's like the way, whatever. Anyways, back, where were we? Lake Wobegon. And, so this bitch is dying. And the moral of the story is now she's fucked up this whole gender thing by, making it this big fat bitch moment when you put any other normal woman out on the ice and they could have done it. Never mind the fact that walking out to the middle of the lake has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with ability. They choose something that requires... Oh, good. Are you back? All right, I started the show already. Yeah, I've already started the show. Well, yeah, we're just trying to do it, I want to see what it would be like. I'd do 10 minutes up top. I've done 16 minutes so far. I started at 4:30. Sorry. I'm doing Garrison Keillor. It's on? Yeah, it's on. I'm doing Garrison Keillor.
Are you doing what, Lake Wobegon?
Lake Wobegon. Well,